When it comes to fat loss, there's no doubt that your diet is the most important factor that you have to get right. It's the foundational pillar. Even if your training is on point, consistent, and you're hitting the gym like a beast, you're simply not going to see the results you want without a proper nutrition strategy. You can't out-train a bad diet, as the saying goes. And that truth resonates deeply when your goal is to shed body fat. But here's where most people hit a wall, and honestly, I don't blame them. We constantly bombarded and overwhelmed with a never-ending stream of new diets that are supposedly the new best way to lose fat. One day it's keto, the next it's intermittent fasting, then carnivore, then vegan, then paleo, then you get the picture. With so much conflicting information and so many gurus shouting their unique method from the rooftops, it becomes extremely difficult to know which approach to take, or even where to begin. It's a landscape of confusion designed to sell you books and programs, not necessarily to clarify the path to real results. However, the real truth, often overlooked in the noise, is that every single diet or dieting method out there works the exact same way. They all achieve fat loss by causing you to eat at a caloric deficit. This means you're consistently eating fewer calories than your body burns every day. This fundamental principle is non-negotiable. Research has proven time and time again that whether it's keto, intermittent fasting, carb cycling, or any other popular diet, while these methods may each have certain psychological and physiological benefits for some individuals, perhaps making them feel more satiated or simplifying meal timing, none of these diets or methods will possess any special magical fat loss effect that defies the laws of thermodynamics. They instead work by making it easier for you to eat less calories. So the simple, profound truth is that the best diet for fat loss is really the one that you personally enjoy the most, the one that fits seamlessly into your lifestyle, and therefore the one you will be most consistent with in the long term. Adherence is king. However, with that being said, regardless of what specific approach you choose, there are a few core factors that you need to get right in order to truly optimize your diet for fat loss and ensure you losing fat, not valuable muscle. These are mainly how many total calories and how much protein, carbs, and fats you are consuming on a daily basis. Let's break down each of these critical elements. Calorie intake. The foundation of fat loss. As for your calorie intake, this is your absolute top priority for fat loss. If you want to maximize fat loss while simultaneously minimizing muscle loss, which is crucial for maintaining a lean, healthy physique and a strong metabolism, then you have to pay extremely close attention to how many calories you consistently taking in. This isn't about rigid restriction, but strategic management. Research indicates that this delicate balance of maximizing fat loss while preserving muscle is best achieved with a moderate caloric deficit. What does moderate mean in practical terms? It's a deficit that enables you to lose around 0.7% of your body weight per week. For most people, especially those just starting out or with a significant amount of fat to lose, this translates to roughly 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week. This rate is sustainable, allows for good energy levels, and critically protects your hard-earned muscle. In fact, studies have shown that a more aggressive, crash diet-style calorie deficit was actually shown to hinder fat loss in the long run, often leading to greater muscle loss, metabolic slowdown, and ultimately, a higher likelihood of rebound weight gain as opposed to accelerating results. Slow and steady truly wins the race here. Now, if you're feeling a bit lost and are unaware of what your specific calorie intake should be, a good starting point is essential. It's a highly recommended method, lined in a comprehensive 2014 paper by Eric Helms and colleagues, who are leading experts in natural bodybuilding and nutrition, is to simply multiply your current body weight in pounds by 13. So, if you weigh 180 pounds, you'd start with 180 by 13 equals 2,340 calories per day. While this formula provides an excellent initial estimate, it won't be spot on for every single person. Individual metabolism, activity levels, and body composition vary. Therefore, the strategy is to start with that number, track your weight loss progress over the next week or two, and then either slightly increase or decrease your calories based on how your weight loss progresses throughout the next little while. If you're losing too fast or feeling extremely fatigued, slightly increase. If you're not losing at all, slightly decrease. This iterative, data-driven approach is key to finding your personal sweet spot. Protein, your muscle-saving and satiety ally. As for protein, this is arguably the most important macronutrient you want to keep track of, especially when you're in a caloric deficit. Its role in maintaining muscle mass while you're actively trying to lose fat cannot be overstated. Research has repeatedly shown that adequate protein intake plays a major protective role in preventing muscle breakdown, which is a common risk when energy intake is lower than expenditure. Losing muscle not only hinders your strength and physical appearance, but also negatively impacts your metabolism, making future fat loss harder. Now, while how much protein you should intake will always be a highly debated topic among fitness enthusiasts and experts, with various recommendations, floating around a robust 2018 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Sports Medicine offers clear guidance. This comprehensive review found that intaking at least 0.73 grams of protein per pound of body weight is generally sufficient to maximize muscle growth and, critically for fat loss, muscle maintenance during periods of caloric restriction. So if you weigh 180 pounds, aiming for at least 132 grams of protein would be a good target. However, I personally find that intaking a little more than this minimum recommendation is often beneficial, particularly when you're restricting calories. Why? Because we know that protein is the most satiating macronutrient. This means it keeps you feeling fuller for longer, which is a massive advantage when you're trying to manage hunger and adhere to a reduced calorie diet. It can better help keep you full throughout the day, reducing the urge to snack or overeat. Carbs and fats. Flexible fuel sources. Now, as for carbs and fats, this is where a lot of the diet wars have been fought, the infamous low-fat versus low-carb debate. But let's cut through the noise. A recent and very insightful 2018 year-long randomized clinical trial involving over 600 subjects shed significant light on this. The key finding was that when protein intake is sufficiently high and consistent, both low-fat and low-carb diets are equally as effective for fat loss. This means that the specific ratio of carbs to fats within your caloric deficit does uninherently make one superior for fat loss over the other. In reality, this is fantastic news because it means these two macronutrients can be adjusted based on what kinds of foods you personally enjoy the most and what makes your diet more sustainable for you. Some people thrive on higher carbs and lower fats, feeling more energetic during workouts. Others feel more satisfied and less hungry on a higher fat, lower carb approach. The flexibility here is your friend. However, generally, the scientific literature recommends a fat intake of around 0.25 to 0.5 grams per pound of body weight daily, ensuring you get enough essential fatty acids from healthy sources. These healthy fats are crucial for hormone production, nutrient absorption, and overall health. Once you've set your target for protein and fats, the rest of your calories, minus your protein and fat calories of course, should come from carbohydrates. This allows for personalized flexibility, while still adhering to your overall calorie and protein goals. It's also worth noting that research does suggest that females might do better sticking to the higher end of that fat range. My daily fat loss diet. Putting it all together now that you've learned the basics regarding setting up and optimizing your diet for fat loss, understanding calories, protein, and flexible carbs, fats. Let us take a practical look at what a typical day of eating for fat loss looks like for me. This isn't a rigid template for everyone, but rather an example of how these principles can be applied to create a sustainable and effective meal plan. Before we get started with the first meal, here are the main goals I try to achieve with my diet, which you can use as a blueprint for your own. Goal 1. Adhere to my personalized calorie and protein targets. Currently, my main focus is to intake roughly 2,300 calories and around 165 grams of protein a day. This aligns with the moderate deficit and high protein recommendations we just discussed. Goal 2. Prioritize volume and satiety. I aim to include plenty of fruits and vegetables. These are often low in calories, packed with water and fiber, and help keep me full and satisfied throughout the day, minimizing any hunger pangs. They also help me minimize any micronutrient or fiber deficiencies, that can sometimes occur on restricted diets. Goal 3. Optimize daily protein intake distribution. As shown in a 2018 study by Brad Schoenfeld and Alan Aragon. In order to maximize muscle anabolism, which is the process of building and maintaining muscle, your daily protein intake should ideally be spread across a minimum of 4 meals throughout the day. This provides a consistent supply of amino acids to your muscles. Goal 4. Ensure overall well-being and adherence. This is vital. My diet needs to be enjoyable and sustainable. If I hate what I'm eating, I won't stick to it. So, incorporating foods I genuinely like within my calorie and macro targets is crucial for long-term success. With that being said, let's dive into Meal 1. Meal 1. Fueling the morning. My breakfast usually consists of a smoothie with the following ingredients. I pack it with fruits and flax seeds for my micronutrients, fiber, and crucial omega-3 intake. For the liquid base, I use cashew milk, since it's much lower in calories than dairy milk, yet still provides essential calcium and vitamin D without adding unnecessary calories. To hit my protein target early, I add whey isolate protein, which is a fast-digesting protein source. Finally, a few grams of cinnamon help add taste, and importantly, have quite a bit of research supporting their ability to improve insulin sensitivity, which is beneficial for overall metabolic health. Alongside my smoothie, I usually have rice cakes and the other half of the banana that went into my smoothie. I prefer this as my pre-workout meal, since it consists of a fast-digesting protein from the whey and high glycemic index carbs from the rice cakes and banana, as explained in my previous video on pre-workout nutrition. This combination seems to be ideal for performance based on the current scientific literature, giving me quick energy for my training session. Post-workout and midday meals. Now, as for your post-workout meal, contrary to popular belief, and as shown in a comprehensive 2013 literature review on the topic, consuming a meal immediately post-workout doesn't seem to be as critically important as once thought, especially if you've had a pre-workout meal with sufficient protein. The anabolic window isn't as narrow as many once believed. However, since you do ideally want to space out your protein intake to maximize muscle protein synthesis, having another meal at least within a few hours after your workout would certainly be recommended. I personally prefer keeping my post-workout meals simple and clean, with baked sweet potato for complex carbs, baked chicken breasts for lean protein, and a large salad on the side with low-calorie dressing. Again, I'm simply sticking to unprocessed foods that help contribute to my overall micronutrient intake for the day, ensuring my body gets all the vitamins and minerals it needs to recover and function optimally. This meal provides sustained energy and high-quality protein for muscle repair without excess calories. Throughout the day, between my main meals, I usually have a few more servings of various fruits and vegetables as snacks. These are all quite low in calories, packed with fiber and water, and help keep me full and satisfied until the next larger meal. I also rely on a combination of black coffee and green tea. These are excellent for appetite control. The caffeine found in green tea and coffee is a natural appetite suppressant. It has actually been shown to slightly increase your caloric expenditure. Research from the Journal of Clinical Nutrition suggests that a couple cups of coffee can lead to an additional 80 or so more calories burned throughout the day. And the fact that research also shows that caffeine may increase fat usage by the body makes it something I'd highly recommend incorporating into your routine if you enjoy it. Dinner and evening eating sushi is by far my favorite food, so I tend to have it quite often for dinner. The great thing about knowing how much you should be eating, by tracking your calories and macros, is that you're able to fit in foods that you genuinely enjoy, like sushi, without it negatively affecting your progress. This makes the diet sustainable and enjoyable, rather than feeling like a constant battle against cravings. Aside from being a relatively low-calorie protein choice, the salmon found in many sushi rolls helps provide the important omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA. These have recently been shown in a 2018 literature review to possibly help with anabolic signaling and muscle repair and growth, making fish a fantastic addition to a fat loss diet. So, in taking a few servings of fish per week and supplementing with omega-3 south is something I'd highly recommend. For my last meal of the day, this is something I'll typically have shortly before bed. Since I personally enjoy going to bed feeling full, it doesn't impact my sleep quality whatsoever. It's usually a combination of eggs and egg whites, often scrambled or made into an omelet, served with toast for some carbs, and peanut butter topped with stevia sweetener for healthy fats and flavor. I also include a salad with zero-calorie dressing on the side. For those who still cling to the old myth against eating this late, the scientific literature has shown time and time again that eating carbs, or even food in general, late at night will not contribute to fat gain. Given that you're still staying within your overall caloric deficit for the day, your body doesn't suddenly switch to fat storage mode just because the clock strikes a certain hour. One crucial point I do want to mention though, especially for very calorie-dense foods, like peanut butter, nuts, or oils, I would highly recommend that you take the time and effort to at least measure or even better weigh out how much you're using. Several studies have shown that underreporting calories is a very common reason why overweight individuals struggle to lose fat despite consistently dieting. This is probably because it's so incredibly easy to accidentally overconsume these calorie-dense foods. For example, here is 300 calories worth of peanut butter compared to 100 calories. The difference in volume is almost unnoticeable to the naked eye. This seemingly small oversight can easily be the factor that's inhibiting your fat loss progress. It's pushing you out of that necessary caloric deficit. So, if you have any measuring tools like a food scale, I'd strongly suggest you use those. Otherwise, I will leave a link in the description box down below to a very affordable and reliable food scale that I personally use myself, which can be a game changer for accuracy. Conclusion: consistency is key, but that's pretty much what a day of eating for fat loss looks like for me. Hopefully, this provides you with some insight as to how to approach and optimize your diet for fat loss. The key is really to incorporate foods you personally enjoy eating and that fit your lifestyle in order to create a diet that you can adhere to the best. Remember, sustainability and consistency will always trump short-term extreme restrictions. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn on notifications for my channel as well, as all of this really does help me out and allows me to continue creating this content for you. As always, for those interested, I'll leave a link in the description box down below to the written summary of this video on my website, builtwithscience.com, where you can find more in-depth resources and guides. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you next time.